The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Next at 6, sports in D.C. wouldn't be the same without him. Tonight, we remember the former owner of the Washington Nationals and the mark Ted Lerner has left on the district.
And it's being called the first of its kind, a new all-in-one housing project in D.C. that offers more than a home for the unhoused. We're stepping into the next chapter with some of the district's homeless.
And a violent rampage at U-Haul hits multiple people in New York City before leading police on a high-speed chase. What the driver was yelling as police tried pulling him over.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Finally seeing some sunshine. I know it was a tough weekend. We're rebounding back, and man, it's a spring feel that we're about to experience this week. I'll have the full breakdown coming up.
And breaking now at 6, it is a busy Monday night. A lot happening right now, including 2 big police investigations. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 6 o'clock. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz. We're going to start off first in Prince George's County, Maryland.
Yeah, right now there's a large police presence at the Ritchie Station Marketplace in Forestville. Police tell us a body was found in the shopping center parking lot. They're not saying exactly how that person died, but there are also reports of a shooting. Much of that shopping center near the Capitol Beltway is now blocked off. You can see there with their yellow crime tape. Of course, we'll continue to monitor this breaking news, pass along any new information, both on air and online at DCNewsNow.com.
And new details right now in a triple shooting in Charles County, Maryland. We now know that 2 people who were shot have died. A Charles County Sheriff's Department spokesperson says that 1 of the 3 men was found dead at the scene. The other 2 were taken to a nearby hospital, where a second person was confirmed dead just moments ago. Now, the shooting happened at Indian Head Highway and Laurel Drive. We're told the scene is contained, but you're being asked to avoid the area. Of course, we'll bring you updates on air and online on DCNewsNow.com. And tonight, we're following the passing of Washington Nationals owner Ted Lerner, who was born and raised in D.C., graduated from George Washington University, and earned a law degree from there, too.
Lerner became one of the largest private real estate developers in the region before bringing baseball back to the district when he bought the Nationals in 2006. Ted Lerner was 97 years old. And today, the Navy Yard, home to Nats Park, is vibrant thanks in a large part to Ted Lerner's vision.
Yeah, DC News Now sports director and host of Game Night at 11, Derek Forrest, is here with us right now.
Yeah, Derek, Ted Lerner has left a huge impact on the region, not just baseball, but all around Nats Park.
Yes, certainly. It's very rare to find someone who truly cares about an organization when it comes to owners. Ted Lerner, though, was one of the few exceptions, but it was because he was a part of the community. He was a D.C. native, and it showed.
Ted Lerner may have been meant for the game of baseball. He was born in 1925, the year after the Washington Senators won the World Series. He grew up on baseball, watching his hometown team, even working as an usher just to be around the game. And it's the passion he brought back to the franchise when he bought the team in 2006 from Major League Baseball. But he didn't want it to just end there. He helped create the Nationals youth baseball program, giving kids in the inner city a chance to play the game.
I think it's their great opportunity to move forward in life, which they may not have been able to under normal circumstances.
Lerner also created more opportunities outside of baseball. Lerner used his background as a real estate developer to help build around the stadium, transforming the area to a place people wanted to be.
Everything I've worked for is about striving for excellence and building for future generations. It's about community. It's about the future.
The Lerner family, and specifically Ted, are responsible for a lot of that, if not all of that, spearheading the ballpark project with a community's redevelopment and expansion and making it a cool, happening place to go for a meal or to live.
And then, of course, it all culminated in 2019, as Lerner, along with the leadership of his son, Mark, was able to bring DC their first World Series title since 1924.
Well, Lerner also attended Roosevelt High School as well. He died because of complications with pneumonia at his home in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Guys.
Derek, thank you. And continuing our live team coverage, it wasn't just on the field. It was off the field, too, that Ted Lerner made a huge impact.
Yeah, the Navy Yard and the sports scene in D.C. would look a whole lot different without Ted Lerner. Our Dave Laval at Nats Park tonight. And Dave, fans are remembering Lerner and his influence on the district.
Yeah, Chris, right now, and also Tasmeen, we're dealing with a mix of emotions from fans we spoke to, ranging from sadness to gratitude for the man who brought DC its first World Series title since 1924. That also happens to be the year before the birth of Ted Lerner. Signs outside Nationals Park let fans know about the death of team owner Ted Lerner.
Obviously very sad news about the passing of Mr. Lerner.
Brett Saunders lives across the street from the stadium and shared his fondest memory of the Nationals owner.
He brought a championship to DC in 2019, still one of the most memorable sports days of my life.
The news shocked other fans.
Oh, wow. Oh, I didn't know, obviously. Anytime anybody passes, it's unfortunate, you know.
Lerner took over the Nationals in 2006, 1 year after Major League Baseball returned to D.C. after 34 years.
And a great friend.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser recalls the impact Lerner had on the game in the city.
He believed in the Washington Nationals. He wanted them to be winners. He was very proud to bring a World Series home to D.C. and be a part of the revitalization of baseball in D.C., which is a big thing.
Lerner also created one of the largest private real estate development companies in the district, along with giving his time and money to help his hometown. That did not go unnoticed by Saunders.
But obviously what he did for, philanthropies across D.C. and charities, right, and everything he's done to kind of bring the city together.
Yeah! Yet it's what Lerner built during that magical 2019 season is how most fans will remember Ted Lerner. And baseball played a big part in the life of Ted Lerner. He served as an usher at the old Griffith Stadium where the Senators used to play. Ted Lerner is survived by his wife of 71 years, Annette, along with 3 children, 9 grandchildren, and 11 great-grandchildren. We're live at Nationals Park. Dave Laval, DC News Now.
Dave, thank you. And meanwhile, in the district, DC's newest one-stop shop to help people leaving homelessness opened today.
Yeah, it's called the Ethel, and its purpose, according to the mayor, is to make sure people don't find themselves back on the street. DC News Now's Katie Ree was there for the opening today. And Katie, the Ethel is an all-in-one complex.
Good evening, guys. Now, you're absolutely right. The Ethel is not only a place to live, but also a place to learn and to grow. They have job skill programs, even cooking classes to help people settle into their new communities. Now, this new supportive housing building, it's going to have 100 new units, and it's looking like a step in the right direction to eliminating homelessness here in the district.
I'm very excited because I can get even more help than what I was already receiving to make sure that I'm successful at the end of my journey.
Jeray Gibson is one of the newest residents of the Ethel, named after Ethel Kennedy.
I was found without housing, without stable housing at the age of 21. After moving into my new home, I plan on enrolling into cosmetology and becoming a registered nurse.
The Ethel is one of the only buildings in D.C. completely dedicated to supportive housing, which is a more holistic approach to getting people back on their feet.
There will be case managers here, computer lab, prep kitchen, hair salon, spaces in the building where residents can learn new skills and connect with the community.
A shortage of caseworkers has long been a problem. Having some on site is expected to speed up the process from vulnerability to stability.
We're not immune from the labor shortage that is consistent in our country, particularly in human care professions, and we are experiencing that. So right now, we contract with about more than 17 different organizations that provide supportive services.
Gibson is ready to move into her new home and hopes others like her can be placed into supportive housing.
I would want to see a screening done for those who would like to help themselves and to be pulled out of the fishing bowl of trying to see who needs help more faster than someone else versus someone who is really trying to help themselves and just needs to be a little bit more seen.
Now, these units will be supported by a voucher from the city. The maximum amount of that voucher per unit is $2,648, and now the renter will also contribute around 30% of their income. Now, new numbers from the mayor's administration says that they've reached about half of their goal to provide affordable housing units before 2025. Now, that's around 7,000 units out of that 12,000 units In the newsroom, Katie Ree, DC News Now.
And new details in the Jason Lewis case. He's the man charged with the murder of 13-year-old Karan Blake. Lewis was back in court this morning, but the hearing lasted less than 10 minutes. Now, at the request of his attorney, his preliminary hearing has been pushed back. The hearing would have shed more light on the shooting that happened in early January and would have been one of the first times investigators showed their evidence against Lewis. Court documents show that this includes statements, audio and video recordings, witness testimonies, and other physical evidence as well. Now, since his arrest, we've learned from police that Lewis shot at multiple people on the scene that morning. He says he was afraid for his life and that Blake was running towards him. Lewis is currently being held without bond tonight. A plea deal is not being offered, and he's set to be back in court on March 9th.
And developing right now in Prince George's County, police are investigating a deadly shooting that happened early Saturday morning. Happened on Parkwood Street in Landover Hills shortly after midnight. Police say they found 17-year-old Daiwo Flomo of Riverdale shot to death inside of a car. $25,000 reward now being offered for information that leads to an arrest and conviction. And D.C. police need your help finding these three people seen on your screen. They're wanted for an attempted carjacking Friday in Northwest. It happened on 14th Street just before 2 in the afternoon. Police said the suspects told the driver to give them the car. When the driver got out, they pepper sprayed the driver, then took off without the car. D.C. police want you to contact them if you recognize any of these three people.
And you just watched a young man being rescued from the rubble in Turkey this morning. That's as the death toll now rises to 37,000 people in both Turkey and Syria. A number of rescue operations have been suspended there because of security concerns.
Good evening, everyone. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families dealing with that devastation out towards that way. Today, man, I hope you enjoyed the weather a little bit better compared to the end of our weekend, right? It was kind of a dreary one. And finally, noticing the cloud coverage, it's still in place, but it's trying to push out of our area. Temperatures, though, a lot warmer compared to the finish of your weekend. 52 sitting under partly cloudy skies. There is a good breeze out there out of the south and west to about 10 miles per hour. And really, we're going to be looking at a pretty blustery week all in all, but it's almost a spring feel that we are dealing with highs near 60 for our nation's capital. 60 degrees out towards Manassas, all of Fairfax County, in the upper 50s to Loudoun County as well. Many areas well above average, 15 to 20 degrees above average. And really, folks, this is just the beginning of this kind of warming trend that we are about to sit under. So lows this morning, yes, it was quite chilly. And even tonight, we're going to be on the chillier end. But throughout the week, overnight lows are going to show out just as well as we're in the middle to upper 40s for a few nights for the next 7 days. Now, hour by hour, I do want to show you this for your evening planner. We're going to continue to see this kind of warming trend sitting under partly cloudy conditions, a few more clouds that will stream in. But our weather team is tracking a quick burst of rain late evening Tuesday into your Wednesday. We'll time that out coming up.
All right, Janessa, thanks. Meanwhile, the U.S. is working to recover multiple unidentified objects that fighter jets recently shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace. Officials say they pose no security threats, but many more questions remain unanswered tonight. Washington correspondent Jesse Tenor reports.
These officials confirm they're currently not tracking any additional objects while they're still trying to get their hands on the ones on the ground.
There is no indication of aliens or terrestrial activity with these recent takedowns.
The White House ruled out one possibility Monday around the mystery of multiple unidentified objects that fighter jets recently shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace.
I loved E.T., the movie, but I'm just going to leave it there.
John Kirby with the National Security Council says crews are now working to recover the debris.
The objects in Alaska and Canada are in pretty remote terrain, ice and wilderness. All of that making it difficult to find them.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin says U.S. officials determined the objects were not a security threat to people on the ground, but were flying low enough to potentially disrupt civilian air travel.
We don't know if they were actually collecting intelligence.
Kirby says the objects were not manned or transmitting communication signals, and the U.S. is currently not tracking any others.
You want to err on the side of safety here in terms of protecting our national security interests.
Officials say the repeated shoot-downs reflect a heightened alert following the Chinese spy balloon that crossed through U.S. airspace last month.
There is no question in our minds that system was designed to surveil.
And even though China maintains its innocence, officials now accuse the U.S. of sending its own surveillance balloons over their territory.
We are not flying surveillance balloons over China.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken postponed his planned trip to the country in response. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
And coming up, tracking your tax refunds. They're already on the way for millions of Americans. How soon you'll see cash back and more. That's ahead.
And in Virginia, paid family and medical leave faces a bumpy road in the Republican-controlled House. The breakthrough on a bill that may be short-lived. Stay with us.